One Piece chapter 839. Now, this chapter came out early and it threw off my whole fucking schedule, so it's gonna be late, but whatever. With this chapter, nothing new to learn. As far as story progression, a little bit at the end of a plot progression of what we get some more insight on what German is all about. And what was more important about this chapter was the character interaction with Sanji and his whole family. Everyone is there, and you really see what we already know, how much different Sanji is from this family, and not just because of Zeph, but because of, even from the beginning, ever since he was a kid, he's always been a gentle spirit, a gentle kid who didn't like fighting, who wasn't good at fighting. He was always about giving food to poor people, and his brothers just couldn't understand that. So even before Sanji was with Zeph, even though he was always about with the certain foods, he still had that royal feeling to him, and Zeph knocked that out of him. He's always been a gentle person, and I wonder if that's because maybe his mother, they haven't mentioned her mother at all. Maybe hints that I missed, maybe, but I'm really curious on who Sanji's mother, who is Sanji's. Get out of here! Dog almost interrupted me. Anyway. I really want to see who raised Sanji to be as gentle as he was. I gotta see his mom. What's the story behind his mom? Was his mom like? Did his dad just not? Obviously, his dad must have been married to the mom. Either they're divorced or she's dead. That's always the case with so many stories. But I'm really curious now. Like, I want to get like a heartfelt flashback with Sanji and his mom. Man, I'm really looking forward to that. Just to see how does Sanji turn out like this. Now, you get to see how much, well, we already knew how much of a douchebag, how big of the douchebags the Germa are. But, like, it's even worse, and, because, like, Sanji, he tries to kind of, like, eat with his family, and he tries to be calm. But, like, he also tries to, like, show them how he is through his ideals and how he should eat. And he, like, tells this whole family off that they're spoiled brats, they're this and that. And they get all offended, and they're about to throw the plate at this pretty girl who is their head chef, and he caught it for them, and he tells them, oh, you're about to scar this beautiful woman's face. And they're like, oh, what the hell's your problem? She's just a commoner, she's just our chef, she's nothing more to us. So that's all this chapter pretty much is. It's a very simple chapter, but it's all about the execution through the character interactions that make it a good chapter, because it just shows how big of a gap there is between Sanji and his family. Towards the end of this chapter, I'm pretty sure Yonji was the one. It looks like Yonji was the one that beat the crap out of the girl, the one that Sanji had protected. But he tries to blame it on, I believe, Niji. And then Sanji's like, oh, lead me to Niji. I want to kick his ass. And he's like, oh, sure, I'll lead him to you. But then, towards the end, here's where the plot progression comes in on to getting an insight on how Germa works. You see, like, a whole bunch of freaking machines, and they got clones, man. It looks like clones, or like some person's DNA, and they like pretty much matched it all with these humans that they've created. They look like mechanically engineered humans, and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because all those men who would give up their life for the Germa, they look too robotic, as if they weren't human, as if they were not only raised to be that way, but also created, designed to do that, because I don't care how much you've been raised. I find it really hard to believe that any human who wasn't mechanically engineered to be that way would just give up their life without a second thought or any doubt to these fucking bastards. They're not being treated right, and it's just like, man, there's something not right about this army. So now we get a more clear answer. It looks like these guys are mechanically engineered clones. So I mean, what else is there to look off of that, man? You're like, what the fuck? Like, how do we beat these guys? First, you gotta destroy the machines. You gotta probably destroy whatever's creating them, whoever's creating them. I wonder if they got anything from Vegapunk. That'd be pretty interesting. Now, the other real cool thing about this chapter was Zeph. They pretty much threatened Zeph. And Sanji had a flashback to all the good times with Zeph. And there's one flashback that I really loved, is that he's like, oh, why are you being so nice to me? I tried to kill you. And I think that was the first time Sanji had ever realized someone can be so kind and gentle. And that's where his whole transformation completely took over. Where before he was gentle, but now he was no longer, stuffy, or he wasn't full of himself. Zeph really taught him a lot. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Zeph knew who Sanji was. Not that Zeph knew who he was, but that Zeph might have known who he was affiliated with. Because Zeph, he's been in the Grand Line. Who knows how far he's gone in his prime. I wouldn't be surprised if he has run across the Germa, or he has seen those eyebrows before. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he was wondering why Sanji's bounty was only wanted alive. I wouldn't be surprised if he already knows the Germa, and he might have already prepared himself for that situation down the line. Because even though the Germa threatened him, Zeph is no pushover. Obviously, he's not like freaking Yonko. At least I don't think he should be Shibukai level, but I think Zeph can hold his own. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeph has something prepared so that Sanji doesn't have to be tied down to these bastards, because that's pretty much what's holding Sanji back from going against the Germa. That's pretty much it for this chapter. Do you guys think that Zeph might have a backup plan in a way to tell Sanji, hey, it's cool, I've been prepared for this? I really hope that's the case. This chapter, it was solid, 3.8 out of 5 stars. It was a good chapter. Great character interactions. Can't wait for the next one. Fantard out.